So right now I'm going to show you how to make what I call rainbow Pico De Gallo. We're actually going to use some cucumbers out of my garden, and let's go. We're just going to walk around. Let's see here. We have a cucumber. Earlier we had come out and we picked a bunch of these, and we've already got them kind of prepped up because it would be boring to stand there and watch me cut this. But this is what we're going to make our cucumber Pico De Gallo with, our rainbow Pico De Gallo. As promised, we're going to make rainbow Pico De Gallo. It's sort of a non-traditional twist on this. I like this one just because it's so colorful, so full of bright, vibrant flavors, vegetables. Very healthy, good for you. Absolutely fantastic for the summertime. So here we go. Okay. In an effort to save us all some time here, I've done a lot of the cutting in advance so that we don't have to mess with it, you know, have this kind of stuff going on. Basically, you know, let's start. Okay, so it's going to have poblanos in it, fresh diced, not roasted, fresh diced poblanos, red bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, sorry, orange, yellow. It's going to have red onion in it, jalapeno, optional, okay? If you don't want it spicy, that's okay. Not a problem. We're going to do fresh limes, lime juice, and the zest. Okay, so that part's going to be important. It's going to give you a lot of flavor with it. It's going to brighten it up. Cilantro. Cucumbers. Let's talk about cucumbers. And so this is the one that we just pulled out of the garden. I had prepared some of these others in advance. If you don't have a cucumber in your garden, that's quite all right. You've got other things here. So you've got your standard cucumber. If you're going to use this, you're going to need to peel it, okay? It's going to have a thicker skin on it. It's got the waxy stuff on there. Definitely going to want to peel it, seed it, and then use that. If you're going to use one of these hothouse English cucumbers, you don't need to. You just need to wash it and dice it. Fair enough? So there's that. And so in this particular one, because we've got the garden, we're using this and it's already cut. So here we go. So get all this stuff off of my area here so that we can do it. So let's start off with tomatoes. Okay, already diced. These are Roma tomatoes. I like using Romas for Pico De Gallo. They're a little firmer. They hold up better for this particular application. You know what? I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, we had a plant full of San Marzano tomatoes that would have been excellent Pico De Gallo. We just couldn't eat them all, so I actually ended up drying them in our dryer and making sun-dried tomatoes with them. But these are just fine. Just make sure you're washing them. You'll hear me say that a lot. Wash them, wash them, wash them. That's the restaurant guy in me. You know, food safety, that kind of stuff. You never know where it's been. You know, I'm sure it's fine, but you should always be washing your stuff. These were the cucumbers that I've already diced. And I actually peeled mine too, because the crisp variety that I've got is, the skin can be a little bit thick. Not terrible, but a little bit thick. Okay? It's already looking beautiful, isn't it? Let's do yellow bell pepper. Okay, that's about a cup, more or less. Orange bell pepper, about the same. We are going to post the recipe on the link or down below when we're done with this, and so you'll have it there if you want it. But you know, the truth is sometimes you need recipes, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you need recipes, sometimes you don't. You know, and that brings me to the philosophy of cooking in general. And you know what? Being a chef isn't about pomp and circumstance. It's not about placing fancy garnishes on plates with tweezers. It's really not. The idea for me is more about friends and family than it is pomp and circumstance. It's not about sipping wine with your pinky in the air. It's about creating food with love for people that you love and bringing your friends and your family together to do that in a way that's a celebration, right? And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to demystify all this and make it easy and simple and delicious and healthy. So far, so good, right? Let's see. These are some jalapenos. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on those just because sometimes they're a little bit spicy. I like them that way, but my wife would prefer if I don't. So that's okay. Poblanos, notice they're a little bit darker green. Love these. Poblanos can have a slightly thicker skin too. And so if you buy the smaller ones, typically you won't wrestle with them at all. But if you take a cut, bite it, and if you see that it's a little toothy, it's okay, just dice it a little bit smaller. That's fine. Not gonna hurt a thing. Okay. Look at how bright that is. We haven't added any seasoning to this, nothing, and it's just gonna explode with flavor. We're letting each ingredient be impeccable by itself. We're letting everything stand on its own and come together like a concerto, right? It's not about pounds and pounds of spices and cover this up and hide that and do this and do that. It's not about that. It's about layers. It's about, let's get the best cucumbers we can. Let's get the best tomatoes we can. Add them. Let each one stand on its own and then build on top of each other, right? Very, very humble approach, right? You know, why is grandma's food always better, you know? Is it because it tastes better? Yeah, sometimes. She's also got a lot of years of experience doing this. But I would contend that a lot of it is that grandma made it with love, right? And that you love grandma or grandpa. That's what this is about. All right, notice I'm kind of smushing my limes a little bit. It's going to help me get the juice out. Okay, I've already washed these, so not to bore you, but trust me, on everything you see that I do here, I'm going to wash it. I have a microplane, and I'm going to basically get the zest off of these and put them in here. If you don't have a microplane, that's okay. Don't go buy one, you're fine. One of these, a little grater, just use that back side there. That's fine, not a problem. Okay? You don't need to go buy a bunch of fancy gadgets or anything like that. You don't have to go buy fancy knives or bowls or spoons. You can just do it simply with what you have. Some of the best food in the world is done by street vendors that are, just very humble. And so I'll do this as quickly as possible without shaving my knuckles for you. Okay, so we've got it zested. Here we go. Now I'm going to juice it. So we're going to cut it in half. Cut this one in half. I've got an orange juicer here. A lime juicer would work better for this because the pocket is smaller, but I'm going to show you a trick on how to really maximize on it. So in, let it go, pull it out, in, let it go, whoop, excuse me, let it out. Now I'm going to take that first one that I did, drop it right back in on top of this second one, and squeeze it again. Look at all that juice. Okay, so we just kind of improvised a little bit. Now, that being said, what if you don't have one of these? That's okay. That's also okay. Take the back of a fork, hold that lime like that, push it in the middle, like that, squeeze, and twist. Just fine, not a problem. That got all of it, absolutely. We'll do the other one the same way. See, you don't need fancy gadgets, although they're fun. Put this in my trash. Okay. I'll tell you what, we are on the downhill sweep of this. And so now we're going to talk cilantro. I'm going to take that off. All of that's good. A lot of times people are like, I don't want to use the stems. Well, the stems are the best part. You just got to cut it. Now, notice I am washing this. I'm holding it under warm water. And I'm actually going to wring this out like a towel. Always a good idea to wash your produce. Okay? Don't be afraid of it. You're not going to bruise it or anything. Squeeze it out. Squeeze it out. So I've got some brown tips on those stems there, right there. So I'm going to take that piece off. Not a problem. Now, while I've got it in a ball, I'm going to take it, get this out of the frame, and then I'm going to start to cut. Okay. Now, oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells great. Okay. So we're going to put, roughly a cup in there, one full head, more or less. Okay. So in with that, I'm going to rinse my hand and my knife real quickly. Yes. Look how beautiful that is. Just already, just incredible. Okay, so now we're not going to overcomplicate this by adding a lot of seasoning to it. What we are going to do is we're going to add a little bit of sea salt. Regular salt's fine. I like sea salt. Okay, I've got it in my little container here because it's easier to grab. So I've got big mitts and they don't reach into the bag very well. Some of you boys out there can agree with me. So, do this to taste. You don't want to overdo it. Again, everything's going to stand on its own. You're just using that salt to bring forward some of the other flavors. And cumin. And so, not a lot. You just don't need a lot. Okay? If you want this to be a little bit spicier, I would recommend trying your jalapenos first and trying it and seeing where it goes with that. And if it's fine, then it's fine. But if it's not, you can always add a pinch of cayenne or something like that to it too. So we're going to stir that up. Now, Pico De Gallo is one of those things that's always better the fresh day, or better done the next day, right? So we want it fresh, but we want it the next day. Let everything sit there. We want to give all the flavors of all the components a chance to macerate, come together and blend and create their own little symphony. So, man. It's amazing. Tastes like summer in Spain. There you go. I hope you all found that entertaining and useful.